The recently announced closure of the Heinz tomato sauce factory near Shepparton, with the loss of 146 jobs, is a sign of what will come if the federal government adopts the Murray-Darling Basin Draft Plan. The CEO of the National Irrigators Council, Tom Chesson, said that without a strong, viable, internationally competitive food processing sector, many communities in the basin will be forced to close down and farmers will go broke.
Already the Australian Food and Grocery Council is warning that 130,000 jobs from the nation's biggest manufacturing sector are at risk of going by 2020, and that is the food and grocery manufacturing. That's the largest one we've got left. That's the biggest.
It was a disgrace that a country where even a Prime Minister has demanded a fair shake of the sauce bottle, and where a bottle of the red can can be found in just about any Australian home, that we had only one company left manufacturing tomato sauce. While water reforms were not the reason for the closure of the Heinz factory, Tom Chesson said that if Australia didn't grow food or fibre, the food manufacturing sector would have nothing to process and jobs would disappear. A North American study has concluded that coal seam gas drilling was a health risk to people and animals. And this has prompted more calls for a ban on CSG mining in Australia. The review published in the journal New Solutions claims gas drilling is linked to serious health problems. One case study in the report found that 21 Angus Limousin crossbred cattle died after drinking creek water and runoff in an area of intense drilling. Another case study detailed how two families and their animals, both living about 4 kilometres from 25 gas wells, suffered health impairment. Australia's #1 Lambassador, the poker-faced Sam Kekovich, is back, just when you thought it was safe to return to the kitchen. Sam has released what he describes as his own chop song for 2012. He's told legions of YouTube viewers that it has been a year of calamity. Natural disasters, revolutions, economic turmoil, and to top it off, un-Australianism has gone viral.
Popular culture's so un-Australian. I've decided to create chopular culture instead. So, I'm changing my tune. I'm releasing my own chop song. If the Dalai Lama can spray kormas instead of camera on MasterChef, why can't I reincarnate myself as a chop star?
Popular culture was so un-Australian, Sam said he had decided to create a chopular culture instead. So he's changed his tune and releasing his own chop song, a version of the 1990s pop number Barbie Girl.
I'm a Barbie bloke, where's me rum and coke? Apron's plastic, it's fantastic, with me fold-up chair and thick cream everywhere. It's my vocation, with Barbie for the nation.
Existing agricultural production within the Sydney Basin contributed about $1 billion at the farm gate and $4.5 billion in multiplier effects to the New South Wales economy, according to prominent university lecturer Jonathan Sobels. Writing in the online magazine The Conversation, Jonathan Sobels said Sydney Basin farmers were producing 12% of the farm gate value of New South Wales primary production, using just 1% of the state's land area. Of the $1 billion farm gate production value, vegetables accounted for $250 million per annum, poultry $278 million a year, and cut flowers $185 million. Market gardens had been vital in establishing the livelihoods of successive waves of immigrants. About 80% of market gardeners were from non-English speaking backgrounds. They were able to establish a capital base working in factories, restaurants, driving taxis, working on farms and purchasing their own land. Industry website Beef Central has reported that profitability on 100-day grain-fed cattle had remained solidly in negative territory in its latest break-even calculation. A budget calculation based on its standard 100-day grain-fed beast placed on feed on January 9 and exiting the feedlot in the 4th week of April suggested a negative $43 trading result. That remained virtually unchanged from Beef Central's last break-even calculation, completed on December 9, and considerably worse than the plus $1 trading result seen as recently as late October. As illustrated by 2012's first Eastern Young Cattle Indicator figure issued by National Livestock Reporting Service last week, young cattle remained at a premium. The first year's EYCI figure of 419.25 cents per kilogram had eased only slightly from all-time record levels of 428 cents per kilo recorded on December 20. The area news at Griffith in the MIA reports that now that most of the birds had flown to greener pastures, local authorities were counting the cost to the rice industry of last year's duck plague. Growers between Griffith and Leeton had plenty of problems with the feathered pests, with many reporting they had never seen so many in one place. Rice growers were forced to buy more seed and re-sow as the ducks continued to pull out their valuable crops. Not long after her operation filled up with water, ducks descended on their thousands and ripped the rice out of the ground, according to Murrumai rice grower Debbie Buller. She said the family had had to re-sow.